This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, hello all. Welcome to the next session on SAP ABAP. And we have seen what exactly the SAP. SAP stands for Systems, Applications, Products in Data Processing. It's a big use software for the ERPs. ERP means it's in a big companies, huge organizations, guys. So if they want to get maximum profits and benefits out of the SAP, and definitely there should be an ERP. Sorry, if they want to get good profits and benefits out of any software for the big organizations, we need to have one ERP solution. So we have a number of ERP solutions, but that doesn't fit all the modules, and also that doesn't support for all kind of industries. So the SAP is the only biggest software, and which is started in 1972. Okay, not now, guys. It's 1972, still it is there. So 28 plus 19 years, almost 37 years. So this software is there, guys. 37, right? 28, so not 37, 47 years. 28 plus 19, it's a 47 years. And so for entire SAP is built upon based on ABAP programming language. So ABAP stands for Advanced Business Application Programming Language. And in ABAP, so we have seen some of the thumb rules. And so if you want to build any ABAP program, we need to have a baseline. So that is an input and processing logic and output, and also database. And we have seen some of the output statements by using write, skip, uline, vline, and format color. Then we have seen that's in a simple basic output statement. Still, we have a lot of concepts how we can do the output. And also we have seen processing logic. What exactly the processing logic and where the processing logic is going to work out. And we have an SAP R3 architecture, and which follows in a client server architecture. We have presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. And in the presentation layer, with the presentation layer, we can access the SAP applications, and the software is the SAP GUI and graphical user interface. With that, we can access the SAP applications. And the all your ABAP programs will run in the application layer, and the data will be stored in the database layer, guys. And so in terms of the ABAP, and if you want to, so whenever you execute in a program, so definitely we should be having some memory to store the values, to store the data. So if you want to store the data in the runtime execution, we need to have a data objects. The data objects are variable and work areas and internal tables. And if you want to define a data objects, we need to have any data types, and we have predefined data types that are character, numeric, integer, and date, time, string, and x string, and packed decimal, and floating point. And so you have seen already what exactly the data types. And next one is, so if you want to assign the values, and we are going to use the assignment operators. One is the equal and another one is the move. And so directly variable, we can assign the values by using equal and move. And work area, we can assign the values work area hyphen field. But if it is an internal table, and we need to do with the internal table operations, very very important. So in the append, we can append the record in the last, and from the work area to the internal table. And we have insert a particular position. If you want to move the record, we are going to use the insert, simple. And sort, if you want to provide in a sequence, we are going to use the sort. That can be in two ways. One is the ascending and descending. And move, we can move the data from variable to the variable, work area to the work area, internal table to the internal table. And also if the structure of your internal table is not compatible, we are going to use the move corresponding. And if you want to update the or modify the record, we are going to use modify. And the specialty of the modify statement is, if there is a record, it is going to modify. If there is no record, it is going to insert the record into the internal table. And if you want to process multiple records from the internal table, we are going to use the loop. And we have two kinds of loop statements. One is the conditional, another one is the unconditional. In the conditional, the condition is mandatory, that's a while and while. And the unconditional, the condition is optional. We have loop and do and do. And there are two system variable. One is the site abix and sci index. Site abix will work in loop and read, and sci index will work in do and while and while. And if you want to read a single record, we are going to use the read table. And with the read table, we can read the single record. And with the key or with index, we can read the single record from the read table. And SAP by default is in a linear search. And linear search will give low performance. It will search record by record in a consecutive manner. And if you want to search, if you want to improve the performance of your search mechanism, and we are going to use a binary search, or it follows in a binary algorithm. And if you want to apply in a binary search, we must sort your internal table, guys. And delete, yes, we can delete the record from the internal table by using where condition or by using index operation. And also, if you want to calculate a number of records from the internal table, we are going to use a describe table statement, guys. So that's the some of the things we have seen, the internal table operation, and the most important, the clear, refresh, and free. And if you want to remove completely the data from your data objects, we are going to use clear, refresh, and free. The clear will work on variable, work area, and internal table. The refresh will work on only on the internal table, and free, and it will remove the data. The specialty of the free is, and it will remove the data as well as it will remove the memory from the runtime allocation, guys. That's a name free statement. And so you have seen all this, we have talked about this. And conditional statement, we have if, else if, and else, and if. It's in a complex if structure. I can use if and if as well if it is in a one condition. And case and end case. And if you compare case, also same, guys, conditional statement only. But so if you compare with the if statement, case will provide more performance. Why? Because if it is an if, it will search this condition, second condition, third condition, fourth condition, fifth condition, like this. But if it is in a case, so when the value it sees, it directly goes there and it will execute that code, guys. So next, the most important, till now we have seen, we are injecting, we are transferring the values by programmatically, but in the real time we don't do that. The data will be stored in the database level. So how you can store the data, how you can create the data? So the data will be stored always in any database in a tabular format. And how you can create a tables, how you can insert the data into the database tables, and how you can read the data from the database table, how you can provide a security to the database tables, the data to the data in the database tables. And so that we are going to see in today's class. The concept is called the first concept. So till now we have seen some of the ABAP, basic ABAP programming, and still we have a lot of basic ABAP programming, guys. But I have different screenplay to explain other fundamentals in the ABAP programming language. So first, my sequence goes to the data dictionary. We need to talk about what exactly the data and where we are going to store the data and how you can create the database tables. Then I will take you back to the ABAP fundamentals again. Now we are going to talk about data dictionary, and which is used to manage and which is used to manage all the database objects. And we are going to manage all the database objects by using data dictionary concept, guys. So to build an ABAP program, the transaction code is the transaction code is the transaction code is the SE38. And in the same way, to build the tables, that are the transaction code is the SE11, guys. Everything is in a transaction in SAP. The data dictionary concepts, all the data dictionary concepts will be covered in the SE11 transaction. And regularly, guys, I use this transaction, okay, in daily basis. I use minimum 50 times. Okay, whenever I am doing program, I use SE11 minimum 50 times I will use in daily basis. So that's the importance of a data dictionary. And so if you want to do any database concepts, so there is a name, right, SQL. So SQL provides all your database concepts. What is stands for SQL? Structured query language, right? So as part of the SQL, and we have different kind of languages. So one is the DDL, data definition language, and it defines how we can define the database objects. To define your database objects, like, so what are the database objects we have? We have tables, we have views, we have structures, we have procedures, we have functions, we have table types, we have domains, we have data elements, we have log objects, we have searcher. We'll see what exactly this in the future. And maybe we talk about tables. And if you want to create a table, normally the syntax is in the database level, it's a create table, alter table, and drop table. But we don't write any code, just to give an idea what exactly in the database we are going to do it. And DML, it's in a data manipulation language. DML is in a data manipulation language. So you created on a table. After you created a table, if you want to insert the data into database, or if the record is already there, and if you want to update the data in the database, that's a modify or update. And suppose if you want to delete the record from the database, we are going to use a DML. So DML talks about the data, guys. So it talks about the data in the database table. But table, the DDL talks about how you define the table is the DDL. How you insert the data into database table is a DML. So it handles the data and select. Suppose if you want to query that, there is a data inside the table. If you want to query the data, sorry. If you want to query the data or fetch the data or read the data from the database table, we are going so we will give all the data access. But if it is an employee, do you give the access? No. So based on the roles and responsibilities, we are going to provide in a security concept on the data level. That concept will be covered by the DCL, data control language. And suppose if you want to control your data on the database level, we use that TCL. It's in a transactional control language, and it controls when we have to store the data in the database case. Because so you should not directly commit the data into database. You should not directly apply the insert, modify, update, delete statement on the database. Why? Because see guys, I will explain one of the scenario on this part, TCL, transactional control language part. But now you may not understand. But let's take an example of I will so you are doing in a bank transaction, or you are doing in a you are ordering some product in Amazon. So you ordered. After you order, what you will do normally? Hmm? Is Amazon is going to give you a product with free of cost? No, definitely you have to go with the payment gateway, payment options, whether it is in a net banking or credit card or um, internet banking. Sorry, internet banking, credit card or debit card, right? So you do the payment. This process we call it's an invoice in the business term. That the business term is the invoice, and once the payment is successful, control C and control V, and you are going to get a delivery, guys. So you receive the product. That's a we call it a delivery, right? So this is a business, guys. On daily basis, you are going to see this kind of businesses, right? And sometimes I created an order, right? After I created an order, sometimes your transaction will fail, guys. Your transaction will fail. It will happen sometimes because of due to network or because of the server problem. Okay, sometimes your network will be failed, right? So if I suppose when I create an order, if you save in the database like this, and the data will be saved in the database, right? So suppose there are 1 lakh transactions which are failed in today, guys. So are you going to save all 1 lakh transactions in your database? In daily basis, there are a lot of failures. So if you save all your failures, so the infrastructure cost will be more, guys. So whenever you save the data, it occupies the memory in the database level. Whenever it occupies the memory, so after some time, you are maybe I bought my hard disk for my server. I bought on a hard disk of maybe 10 terabytes. So my 10 terabytes are occupied. Then I need to buy more 10 terabytes. More 10 terabytes is a cost effective in terms of the hardware. So unnecessarily I do not want to save my data in the database level. If you want to put in a control to save the data on the database level, we are going to use a concept called TCL, transactional control language, guys. So we'll talk this in the module pool program, what exactly the transactional control, what exactly the commit work and rollback in one of the concept in the ABAP guys. That's why this little heavy dose concept. So this you can understand easily. What is DDL? Now tell me. So it's in a data definition language. If you want to define your tables, we are going to use data definition language. And DML is in a data manipulation. So how you can store the data into database? That's in a data manipulations. We can store, we can insert the data, we can update the data, we can modify the data. And after you save the data, you need to pull the data from database whenever it is required. So that's in a query. So data query language, it's an a by using select queries, we are going to select the data from the database. We see almost 16 kind of select statement, 15 to 16 kind of select queries, how you can fetch the data based on the your requirement. And DCL, and it provides a security on the data guys. So this is the DB statements. I call it in a DB statement. Whenever you go to the interviews, they are going to ask. Even when you go for a fresher, did you attend any fresher interviews? No, right? So you are going to get these questions, guys. What exactly DDL and DML and DQL and DCL and TCL? So if you go to the fresher interviews, so definitely I will ask these questions. You know DVMS, database management systems, right? So in the your education, when you come for a fresher interview, we ask this kind of questions, guys, in the campus interviews. So maybe so even this is required for my ABAP programming language to understand the database concepts. And so data dictionary in the ABAP, there is a concept called data dictionary, and with this, which is used to manage all your database objects, guys. So I will go to the data dictionary, then we'll explain what exactly. First, before going to the data dictionary, maybe yesterday we have seen what exactly the table and what is the field and uh, what is the data, what is the record, what is the value, that kind of things we have seen, right? So guys, here also, what exactly the table first. So maybe I can give some definition to the database table. What exactly the database table? So I can say the database table, and it is a combination of columns and rows, right? It's a combination of columns and combination of the rows, guys. And so imagine that Excel, guys, and which is used to store the data, which is used to store the inside a table. You see there is a data which is used to store that data permanently. In case of internal table, it's in a temporary, guys. Internal table is in a temporary, right? Whenever you execute in a program, in the runtime execution, you can store the data. But whenever the program execution completes, and the data will be removed. But if it is in a database table, and it is in a combination of columns and rows, which is used to store the data permanently in the database, guys. In the permanently, you can see the data in the database. That's in a database table, guys. That is in a database table, and it contains columns is nothing but column is nothing but what is column? Column is nothing but fields, right? Rows are nothing but it's an a data, or it's an a record, right? So column is an a field, and rows is an a record, or it's an a total number of records is an a data inside in a database table, guys. So this is the most important things about the database table, guys. And if I want to create a database table, there are so maybe I can say this is my table, and I can say this is my table. One, two. I will take three fields, guys. Maybe like this. This is my table. And it's a price. See, these are all the fields: sales order and product and price. And each field will have different kind of technical characteristics, guys. See, sales order is an a, maybe I can say it's an a number, and product is an a it's an a characters, and price is an a, okay, price is an a some price, right? So each will have different kind of technical characteristics, right? So here this field will have different technical characteristics, this field will have different technical characteristics, this field will have different technical characteristics. So when you define a field, when you define a table, definitely you need to have a field. For every field we need to have a different technical character. You need to tell to the system, so what kind of field it is, what kind of data I can store in the database table, guys. So to provide a technical characteristics, we use different data objects for in a field, guys. How exactly we are going to define the tables and fields is, so maybe I have in the top I have a database table. So this is my database table, guys. It's my table. Okay. So uh, table contains different fields, right? This is my field one. This is my field one. I can say it's my field one. And also the table contains the second field and also third field. Okay, I'm giving some three fields only, and maybe you can have a number of fields as well. Maybe I can say I can have a number of fields. Maybe this is one more field. This is one more field, and this is one more field. I can say it's an a F2, and it's my okay F3, and it's my okay Fn, right? So it's a nth field. See, and every field will have different characteristics. And if I want to define a different characteristics, guys, so there is a concept called it's a domain. Okay, so the concept we call it's a domain, guys. We talked about, right? So in the database objects, what are the database objects we have? There is a one concept called domain, and so domain provides technical characteristics of a field. So that are that are one is the tell me what is the technical characteristics of in a field. So what are all the technical characteristics of in a field? What are all the technical characteristics of in a field? What are all the technical characteristics of in a field? What are all the technical characteristics of in a field? What are all the technical characteristics of in a field? What are all the technical characteristics of in a field? What are all the technical characteristics of in a field? Huh? Perfect. So the technical characteristics are so that are data type and length, guys. So see in the data objects also, whenever you define a data objects, we define what is the data type and what is the length of that field. Here also same way, whenever you define a field in the database table, we define what is the data type of that field and what is the length of that field, guys. That we call it's a technical characteristics of a field, guys. That's a domain concept. So see, so for this, maybe if you say sales order, maybe data type is character, the length is maybe 10. And next one is product, the data type is character, the length is product means I can say I can give 100 characters, right? And the next field is the price, the data type is price, the data type is packed decimals, right? And the length is maybe I can give some 16, right? So each field will have their unique technical characteristics. So those are data type and length, guys. So if you want to define a data type and length for a field, we are going to use the concept called domain, guys. So that's a domaining concept. So domain provides a technical characteristics of a field. And guys, in normally I give some example, guys. My field is sales order number. This is my field. So if I want to create this field in the table, are you going to use this much length for a technical field? Sales order number, are you going to create this much length for a field? No, guys. Even SAP doesn't follow like this. SAP follows some shortcuts for the fields. So let's take an example. Sales order I followed like this, sales order. But actual the description is it's an sales order number, right? So like this we are going to follow. Field will be in the shortcut, and the description is we are going to have a proper description for the field, guys. So if you want to provide a description of a field, we use different database object, guys. That object I can call its a name. That object we can call its a name data element, guys. That object I can call its a name data element, and it provides field description of a field description of a field. And okay, this is my field description of a field, guys. That's a data element. Maybe we'll explain later. So even, guys, so here my data element for the sales order is different because it's in a sales order number. If it is in a product, I need to use different data element. Product is in a sorry field, and we need to have different data elements for the different fields, guys. So it provides a field description of a field. Just now we talk about only this. Okay, we will add more things on top of this. Okay, just we use these two things here. And see whenever if you want to create a table, you need to have a fields. And also for each field you need to have a data element, you need to have a domain, guys. See, and also, guys, for this field I need to have one more data element and one more domain. And for this field, because the technical characteristics are different, right? And for this field I need to have one more data element and one more domain. For this field I need to have one more data element and one more domain, guys. And so there are two kinds of approaches, guys. So my approach is, if you want to create a table, so I follow one. First I will create. So this way I can show. First I create a domain, then I create a data element, then I create a table. Inside the table I will assign this data element to the field, guys. So how exactly we can assign is, so first I create a domain I assign to the data element. First I will create a domain, I will assign this so where is my colors? If I select this, okay. So when I'll create a domain, I will assign that domain to the data element. Later, I create a data element, I will assign that data element to the field, guys. So this approach I call it's a bottom to top approach, guys. Bottom to top approach. It's a bottom to top approach. It's a bottom to top approach. It's a bottom to top approach, guys. It's a bottom to top approach, I can say. And maybe, and I go and create a database table. And what is the transaction code to manage all your database objects? What is the transaction code to what is the transaction code to manage all your database objects? What is the transaction code? And yes, guys, the transaction code is SE11, SE38 for the programs, SE11 for the database objects. And so now I go to the database, and maybe I can, now we need to go to the SAP, guys. So go to the SAP. not switched on. Okay, so this is my database table, guys, and maybe in the yesterday's we have seen what exactly the database table, and maybe do you see any Excel? No? Somewhere I did some Excel in the yesterday. Okay, think about, let's take an example here also you can see, right? So maybe think this is an Excel. Okay, it's not Excel, it's a word notepad. So you can see there are some fields, right? For this, every one is one column, second column, third column, fourth column, fifth column, sixth column, and you see the data. So this I can say it's in a record, and the entire records I can say data, guys, right? So this is one column, second column, third column, fourth column, fifth column, sixth column. So exactly the same data if you want to save in the database, and we need to have a database table, guys, and every field will have different characteristics. So maybe it's in a number, this is in a number, this is in a number, and if you see this is in a characters, this field is in a character. See, this is in a date format, guys. See, so you can see the date format, so which is in a year, y, and m, and d, guys. So every field will have their own different technical characteristics. If you want to have a different technical characteristics, we use the domain in the database table. And if you want to provide a field description of a field, and also, guys, if you see there are some shortcuts, guys, PERNR, it's a file length. If you see every field file length, PERNR works, Bucharest, FKBER, PERSG, PALNS, SAP follows file length technical characteristics. But what exactly the PERNR is, it's an employee number, guys, employee number. But if you want to provide that description, employee number, the field description to this field, we use the data element. Data element provides a field description of a field, guys. So that's the domain and the data element, and we see how exactly we are going to create them. Yeah, SAP user. Very slow. Yeah, what is the transaction code for the data dictionary? SC11. So SC11. So enter, and you can see, guys. So, guys, there is an old style of teaching. I will explain. Just wait for 2 minutes. So, what is the database table? So, normally people will teach like this, but if I teach like that, it takes 2 years of this course, guys. So, what is the database table? Database table is in a combination of columns and rows. Write it. Okay. So, this is the old way of teaching. I don't teach in that way because it doesn't work out. It takes 2 years to complete this course, because if I explain that, I will explain the content very less, guys. This much content I will explain this many years, but I will explain this much content within this years, guys. So my way of total digital and new way of teaching this. Okay, if you see, even I can hard the other people's how they teach. So same way they teach. So database table, go to SE11. Okay, you will write it. Go to SE11. Yeah, so it's a very important information, right? So SE11, write it. It takes 1 minute for me. Okay, then SE11 I will enter. Okay, here you can see there is a database table. Okay, database table, and which is used for the, it is a combination of columns and rows, and which will be stored permanently in the database. Okay, this way, because i'm I have to, and also some people are habituated that kind of teaching, and when they come first time, maybe they will not understand anything. I know that, I have seen that kind of people. But if you follow me for 15 to 20 days with my way of teaching, and you are going to get a lot of content, guys. So so that's why I don't ask you to write the notes as well, because I will note down everything for you here. So why you need to write in a notes? Just you need to listen what I am saying. Otherwise, if you write the notes, because I will explain little fast, okay, so you are going to miss out lot of words actually. Okay, that's why. Okay, some important things you can write down, but not all the things. Whatever the words coming from my mouth, you should not write everything, guys. Some important things I know, I will give some time to write, but everything I don't explain like that. Even there are a lot of navigations, I don't explain the navigations. So my expectation is you have to practice, and if you practice, definitely you are going to remember the navigations. Here also same thing, there are a lot of navigations. If I explain the navigations step by step, okay, the data dictionary concept itself, it takes 1 month for me, because we have that many options in the data dictionary. Just what you need to do is, so I will explain the class, you have to practice immediately. Once you practice immediately, you are going to remember it, guys. See, so this is a data dictionary concept, guys. So what I told, with the data dictionary concept, okay, we can, it is used to manage all your database objects. The database objects are tables, views, structures, procedures, functions, table types, domain, data element, lock objects, and search help. And you can see over here database tables and views, and uh, leave it. Data type contains the data element, structures, and table types, and domain, search help, and lock objects. The procedures and functions will comes into the HANA database. Whenever I teach the HANA, that time I will explain what is procedure and what is functions, guys. Now, so here you can see the radio buttons, guys. What is this? We call it a radio button. So it's in a radio button. So what is the functionality of the radio button, guys? Can anybody tell what is the functionality of a radio button? So I have these many options. What is the functionality of a radio button? Huh? Yeah, we can choose only one option, guys. What is the functionality of the checkbox? Yeah, you can choose many. I can choose one. I can choose 1 2. I can choose 1 3. I can choose 1 4. I can choose all, guys. That's the difference between radio button and a checkbox. Here also we have these many database objects. I can create only one database objects at a time, guys. And if I want to create in a database table, see, guys, pictorial diagram will give a lot of idea. So now you can see, so I have written one pictorial diagram. See, if I want to build a table, what I need to do, tell me now, by seeing this diagram. By seeing this diagram, first I need to create a domain, then I need to that's it's a bottom to top approach. And here I'm going to give some a table. What table we need to, first we should know what table we are going to design. So maybe I design a table with the same details, guys. Maybe I go to the program. So in this program, actually we are injecting the data from the uh, programmatically, right? So some program internal table operations, and you can go here. So you have these many fields: sales order, and material, and price, and currency, and GST. Maybe I can calculate. You should not store in the database level, right? Tax details I can calculate at the runtime, right? So maybe for every order there is a customer, guys. See, so maybe I maybe Amazon is selling some product. So which customer sold the product, even that also, that information also they should be storing, right? So maybe I can say I have in a database table like this initial database table. I have in a sales order and also product, and not only product guys, I can have an item as well. See, item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, and product, and who is the customer of that product. So this is my database table guys. See, so maybe I have an a order, I have an a item, I have an a, and also I have an a product, I have an a customer, oh sorry, I have an a customer. These four columns we have in the database table guys. And maybe my data is 100, it is in a first item is iPhone, and the customer is, okay, maybe my customer name I can put, okay, Sai is the customer. Next one is the second 100 and item 2, it's in a case, and maybe the customer is same Sai, and 101, this is a different customer, and we have Vivo, and the customer is, I can say, okay, Wasim, and Wasim, and I can say 101. And the second item, this is, it's in a case, and it's in a Wasim, and I have again 101. It's a third item, right? So third item, it's in a screen guard, right? It's a same customer. See, this customer bought three items in a single order, guys. So this is the way we store the data in the database, guys. This is the way we store the data in the database. So if I want to save this data in the database, and I need to have in a four fields: sales order, item, product, and customer. So this is my fields. For this field, I am going to design a data element, guys. So sorry, domain. So guys, if you want to create any custom object, so what is the first letter we need to use? Not only program guys, this is also in a one of the object. It's in a domain is also in a one of the object. It's in a custom object. You are creating it, it's in a custom object. So if you want to create in a custom object, we have to start with the Z. And also guys, we have different kind of database objects, and if I want to create in a domain, I start with the D guys. That's my naming convention. Okay, if it is in a table, ZT. If it is in a view, Z view. If it is in a data element, Z data element. If it is in a type group, I use TZ. If it is in a search help, GSH. GSH. If it is in a lock object, there is a different naming convention. I will explain later that. Okay, so in the same way, so I follow some naming convention guys. So always naming conventions are very good to find out the things. So you need to follow some naming conventions. So domain, ZD, and order, SORDER. Z domain, sales order. This is my domain guys. This is my domain, and try to create it and create this. It's an a sales order. And see guys, so domain provides technical characteristics of in a field. Technical characteristics of in a field that are data type, and number of characters is nothing but length is the number of characteristics guys. That's a domain. Maybe I can say it's in a character. The length is 10 guys. And save it. Save. And where you will save? G, it is the ninth batch. See, this is my package where you can build the packages, where you can build, and see 21 is the transaction code, and save it. And it will ask for that. Whenever you save in the package, it will ask for the transport request. Transport request we use for the deployments. I will have in a separate class for this. What is transport request, what is package, what is local object, I will explain, but now I don't explain. I create one more transport guys. It's a, like one more project I can say. So until the fundamentals I can say it's in one project. And now I am going to have another project. The data dictionary is my another project, and this is in a transport for data dictionary, and it's in a batch 9. Okay, and save it. So this object is saved under this transport request, and transport request used for the deployments. Okay, I will explain landscape systems, software landscape system, and save it. Here you can see control F2 syntax check of the domain, and also no inconsistencies found, and activate the domain guys. I have created a domain. I have created a domain guys. This is my domain. This is my domain. for the sales order. And maybe I can say uh, it's my it's my domain GDSORDER. See, this is my domain is. Next, after you create the domain, what you need to do? So what exactly the domain, guys? It provides a technical characteristics of a field that are data type and length. We provided a data type as in a character. Length I have given in a 10 characters, right? So next one is I need to create a data element. So for this domain, for this field, I need to create a data element. See guys, directly you cannot see a data element here. So there is an option called data type. So go here and data element ZDE and SORDER. So the difference is domain D, data element DE, and create the data element. See guys, whenever you create that, it will ask for the whether do you want to create a data element, do you want to create a structure, do you want to create a table type. Even structure and table type also in a database objects. And data element, I need to create a data element. Choose the data element and okay, and it's in a sales order. And see guys, domain which you have created earlier. So this is my domain and I take this domain, control C and control V. I assign the domain where SOR, but I already created, no problem. Okay, whatever we given, that way I'm going to take it. Correct only, is it? Okay, we'll see. SE11, how it is, yeah, it's correct. How it is altered? Oh, okay, okay. So this is the domain. Maybe I can give the same. I can give the same. Enter. Yes, it's an sales order. The character. See, guys. So the technical characteristics which is assigned at the domain level are copied into the data element. See, we have assigned a character. We have assigned a length 10. That is comes into the data element. Next, guys. So data element. What exactly the data element? What I have given the description. Data element, it provides a field description of a field, guys. Field description, or I can say it's a field label of a field. So control S. Now you go to see, guys, where is the field label here? Where is the field label? This I can say this tab, guys. So this is one tab, another tab step. This is another tab. This is another tab, guys. So this is there in the field label. This is the tab, and here you need to assign. What is this exactly? Sales order. Here I can give only some length. I give like this, and also, guys, I follow whenever I given a text. I follow different kind of font, guys. So can anybody tell what kind of font it is? Can anybody tell what kind of font it is? Huh? Okay. Sales order number. What I am doing actually, can anybody explain? First letter, huh? Uppercase, right? So this font, we can say huh? It's an upper camel case. We can say it's an upper camel case. What exactly the upper camel case? So what is this here? Huh? It's a camel, right? So this is a camel. Okay. So how the camel looks like? Up, down, up, down, and up, guys. So here also same font. I can say it's an up and down and up and down, guys. This font we call it's a technically it's an upper camel case, guys. So this is the upper camel. Whenever you give a text, guys, you need to follow an upper camel case. So it gives an it gives an a beautiful look to your text, guys. So let's say same text I do with a small o. See, it's looking ugly, guys. See, so sales order number. See, compare this text and this text. Compare this text and this text, and this text gives very beautiness. Its look and feel is good compared to the this text. So that's the whenever you give in a text to the business, always you need to follow in a upper camel case. Okay, save it and do the syntax check, and no inconsistency is found, and activate your data element, guys. I have activated my data element. See, I will keep this aside. I'll keep this aside, and maybe my next one is my data element, and this is my data element, guys. Even control V. So de is my data element, right? One field I did it, data element, right? And also you need to create an item also same way, and maybe I go to the domain again, and it's my item, ZD item, and create. Oh, item is already exist, guys. Choose a different name. So it's already exist. I would like to create a data element, sorry, domain, which is already exist. If it is already exist, do you create one more one? Okay, change or okay, display. I can display it character 20, and maybe it's an a sorry, it's in a domain. It's my characteristic character. The item is 20, guys. Maybe can I reuse this domain? Can I reuse this domain? Yes, guys, I can reuse it. Why I need to create one more one? So to make you, maybe I will take the existing one, guys. I don't create the new one because it's already there. Why I have to create a new one, right? So this is my domain. Maybe I will check, is there any data element already exist with this GDEITEM. Yes, yes, guys, even data element also it is there. See, it's an item, but someone created this, but always first letter should be in a caps, guys. So they didn't follow the upper camel case. It's not good. So whenever it is in a description, you have to follow in a upper camel case, guys. Item is my upper camel case. See, save it and activate. So I have my data element, guys. So data elements and domains are reusable, right? By seeing this, I can reuse the domain, I can reuse the data elements. No need to create a everything, no need to create the new one, guys. So that's my intention actually. To show this, my intention is I can reuse my, I can reuse the existing things. Yes, I can reuse it. So this is my item, this is my domain, this is my data element. Maybe we'll go with two fields now, and we are going to, maybe I can create the product, and maybe I can create one more um, domain, ZD. It's my okay product or material, I can say. What you can say, maybe I can create with the material. This is the material number, guys, and domain, and create. And it's an a we can say material, we can say product, anything is okay, guys. So it's in a business, we can say anything. It's an article, some people will call article also, guys. So no problem, everything is same. Okay, everything is same, guys. Character and product can be in a, maybe it can be in a 40 characters, guys, or maybe I can use standard. SAP follows 18 characters for the product, so I will provide an 18. Save and okay, and okay, and activate the, so do the syntax, no inconsistencies, and activate the domain. Activate the domain, and take this, and maybe I can insert text box. This is my uh, this is my domain, and also I create the data element, and go to the data type, and create the z data element. It's in a material, right? And create the data element, and choose the data element, and it's in a material. And domain, what we have created the domain, this is my domain which we have created for the material character, and 18 is the length, guys. And field label I can provide this is my material, and I can say it's in a big. Here I can give big, guys, material number. Okay, and copy this, control V and control V. I will explain very importance of this, but not now. So just give like this, guys, and save, and save, and activate, and activate the data element. Activate the data element, and maybe I can take this data element and I will store this data element aside. Okay, maybe this is my data element. Next thing is the customer number, customer name, guys. Who is the customer? And maybe I go here and I create a domain first, and domain, it's in a customer, and create, and it's a customer, and data type is the character, and the number of characters customer, I can give 10 characters, and save, and save, and okay, and do the syntax check, and activate, and activate, and come back. So this is my domain, and I can store this domain over here, guys. Maybe store the domain and save, keep aside, and maybe I can create a data element. And you are getting bored, right? So I know, okay, we are doing the same kind of activity many times, so it's already exist, guys. Maybe I can change it, data type, maybe I can assign the gd customer. So this is my data element, guys. You can change it, no problem. Okay, I have changed it, and this is my customer data element. And field label, you can see customer, customer number, customer number, customer number. So this is my data element for the customer. This is my data element is the customer. Yes, guys. So control, okay. So done, guys. We have created domains and data elements for each and every field. Now the time, so we are going to create a database table, and go to the, come back and select the radio button database table, JT, and it's in a sales. Uh, Guys, we have a lot of tables sales. I can say EDZ 9. It's in a Z, first letter must, T means database table, and EDZ 9 is the batch, and sales is my table name, guys. So this is the naming convention which I give, and create the database table. See, guys, it's in a table for the sales table. And see, guys, whenever you create in a database table, in the delivery and maintenance tab, so the steps is, whenever you create in a table, whenever we create a table, it gives following tabs. One is the first tab is delivery and maintenance. Delivery and maintenance, and it contains delivery class and table maintenance allowed. Maintenance allowed. Okay, we'll talk about what exactly it is, and maybe, so now maintenance. So, MAINTE, N A N A N A A maintenance. Yeah, right. Maintenance allowed, guys. So delivery maintenance tab, and you can see the, it contains delivery class and table maintenance allowed. What is delivery class? So it provides, it provides the transport of the data, and also the way we store the table in database case. So delivery class provides, it provides the transport of the data. Sorry, control Z, control B, and also the way we store the table in the database, how you store the data, how you store the table in the database level, guys. See guys, if you see what is this symbol, guys, what is this symbol? Search, right? So it provides, so what kind of values we can assign to this field, guys? That's the meaning of here. What kind of values we can assign to this delivery class? So maybe I can say, suppose when you do, when you search it, see, it gives, so these are some values, guys. I can store it, see. So A, C, L, G, E, S, W, there are different options. I can store it in that table level. So this option I call it, guys. So I do something, see, I put F4, I am not doing any mouse, press F4, see, you are going to get the values. Press F4, you are going to get the values, and press F4, it is going to give the values. So what exactly the F4 stands for? Very very important. F4, it's an a search help, guys. Actually it's an a search help. F4 is nothing but, here it's a search help. So it provides, it provides a list of possible values for the field in the database. That's an F4, guys. F4 provides the list of possible values for the field in a database. So you see here, F4, this is the possible values I can assign to this field. So A stands for it's an application table, and C stands for it's an a customizing table, guys. Okay. So what is exactly the value A, which is stands for it's an a application table, and C stands for it's a customizing table. We'll see what exactly the application, what exactly the customizing, and also you can see there are some tables. System table, S stands for it's a system table. These three we are going to use it, guys. System table. Other things we don't use. SAP will use it, but normally whenever as a developer we use these two things mandatorily: application table and customizing table. We are going to create it. So maybe I can use the application table, guys. And also one more thing, one more beauty of the SAP is, and it gives some documentation of a field, guys. So what exactly the delivery class, I would like to know. I'm not sure what exactly the delivery class. If you want to know definitions also, guys, you can get the definition in the screen itself. See, I'm going to find out the definitions. F4 to find out the possible values for this field. But I have one more function key, F1. I press F1. See guys, it provides a documentation of a field delivery class. So delivery class for the database table, delivery class for controlling the data, transport of tables and installations and upgrades and client copy and transporting between the different systems, that provides a delivery class. The delivery class is also used for the extending table maintenance. So even this is used for the extension of the table maintenance, guys. This is exactly the delivery class. And control C, and I give proper definition, SAP definition. This is, so it provides the transport of the data, and also the way we store the data. We store the table in the database, and delivery class for controlling the data, transport of tables for installation, upgrades, and client copies, and other transporting the systems between the different systems. I have one system. If you want to transfer the same table to another system, so this, by using this we can do something, guys. So that's a delivery class. The delivery class also provides extended table maintenance. We'll see this later. And so this is a delivery class and F4, and also see guys, one more function key we have used. What exactly this is? The F1, and very very important, guys. F4, F1, you can do a lot of things in SAP. By pressing F4 and F1, you will come to know a lot of things in the SAP system, guys. Very very important. What F1 provides? It provides documentation of the field, guys. It provides a documentation of a field. Yes, correct, right? So I did an F1, it tells me the lot of things. F1, it tells me the documentation of this field documentation. It is providing it, guys. That's a name. That's a name delivery class. Maybe For now, time being, I am going to select the application table. We'll see, guys, what exactly the master data, what exactly the transactional data. We'll see in tomorrow's class. So I am running out of the time. So directly I can assign the delivery class. We create a lot of tables, guys, n number of tables. And in every concept, we use the data dictionary. Don't worry on this part. And guys, the next thing is we have three options: delivery maintenance allowed, and delivery maintenance allowed, allowed with restrictions, and maintenance not allowed. So I am going to select maintenance allowed, guys. So this is my two options. I am going to select it. So one is the delivery class and another one is the delivery maintenance allowed. I am going to select it. And the second option is I am going to select the delivery maintenance allowed. So this definition, after the practical, I will explain. I will show what exactly it is. Okay, now I don't bother about this case. Next section is the fields case. So next section we have is the fields. So one is the delivery and maintenance tab, and the second one is this is my in this is my B, guys. So that in this one tab I have delivery class, delivery maintenance allowed A and B, and the second tab is field section. So this common, right? So second one is the fields tab, and maybe we can assign the fields to the database table, guys. So in the fields we are going to assign the fields, guys. Maybe my fields are one is the SORDER and data element which we have created for the sales order. See, guys, we keep aside the data element. See, this is my data element. Control C, guys. Here you can see data element. What is the data element for the sales order? And Control V and enter, guys. See, guys, you can see. So this is my field. For this field I have assigned a data element. This data element will have the domain, right? This data element will have the domain. Save. And this data element will have the domain. For this domain we have assigned the technical characteristics. So these technical characteristics are assigned to the sorry these technical characteristics are assigned to the this field, guys. So this is the structure. The structure you can see. So I have in a table, I have in a field, I have assigned a data element to the field, and for this data element we have in a domain. So the technical characteristics which are assigned at the domain level and the field description which is assigned at the data element level will be assigned to the field in a database table, guys. The same way we have in a item. And item, what is the so ZDE item, ZDE ITEM, enter. So it's a data element for the item. Next field is the product or material. Both are same. I can say it's my product. And ZDE material is the data element. Enter. It's a material. And also customer and ZDECUSTOMER. Enter. See, guys, I have assigned the four fields in the fields section of a database table. I assigned four fields to the database table and save it. Guys. So, guys, after you save it, the fields, and you need to go to the technical settings. See, here there is an option technical settings. Go to the technical settings. After assigning the fields, the third step is you need to go to the technical settings. Okay, in technical settings we have data class and size category. We have a data class and size category. What exactly the data class and what exactly the size category? We see these two details and go to here. You can see the data class, you can see the size category, guys. See in the data class. So if I want to see list of possible values, what I need to do? If I want to see list of possible values for this field, what I need to do? If I want to, yes, you need to press F4. Yes, you can see APP L0 and it's in a master data and a transparent tables. So And APPL1, it's a transactional data and a transparent tables. Maybe you are little bit confused with what is master data and what is transactional data, guys. So we'll talk this. Maybe blindly I assign APPL0, assign data class as an APPL0, and size category. So maybe, and also guys, I assigned APPL0. Maybe I will see the documentation. What is the data class? And F1, you can see it. It provides a physical area of database where the database platforms or Oracle or any other database are stored. It provides a physical area on which area you are going to create this table, guys. That's a data class. Control C, and you can provide the data class. It provides in a physical area of the database where the database platform, not only Oracle, we have a lot of other database as well. The database table is stored where the database, in which physical area the data will be stored, the table will be stored, guys. So maybe how exactly the data will be stored on the database, right? So always the database is built up with the iron plates, with the iron disk, that we call it a hard disk, right? In the hard disk there is some areas, we have different kind of schemas. Okay, the schema is nothing but it provides some physical area to the different type of schemas. Suppose if I create a table, each table will allocate some memory in the hard disk level. So exactly the data class provides in which physical area we are going to store this database table, guys. That's a data class. And so here the data class provides in a physical area of the database where exactly the database table will be stored. It's a theoretical, guys, not that much, because we do not see with our eyes. Okay, this is a inbuilt functionality of the database. Okay, don't worry, and don't worry on this part. It's a light theoretical. And also, guys, size category and how many records we can store in the database. That's a size category, guys. So even you can provide some limitations to the database tables. So how many records we can store in the database level, that's a size category. So maybe I can go here and go to here and press F4, and you can see, guys, if you select 0 in this table, I can store the records from 0 to the 6300. If it is 1, I can store almost 25 until 25,000 records I can store it. If I put 2, I can store until 1 lakh record I can store it. If it is 8, I can store almost how many records? Ones to tens, hundreds, thousand, 10,000, and a lakh, 10 lakhs, and 2 crores, 60,000 records I can store in the database, case. So this is my store, and maybe I can use the 0. Initially I can use the 0, guys, and save the database. Leave these things, we'll talk this later, and save and come back. And now, guys, it is done. We have seen the database table and save the database table and do the syntax check. And guys, see, guys, so there is a concept, it is giving me the error. So specify a primary key, guys. So in database, if you want to build in a database, there is a principle called, acid principle, guys. So this is also you might hard in your education. Okay, A stands for it's an atomicity, and C stands for it's an consistency, and I stands for it's an isolation, heavy dose isolation, and D stands for it's an durability. We'll talk later what exactly this, and this exactly the primary key also a one of the acid principle, guys. The acid principle, which is the part of the consistency, data consistency. Okay, so how you can provide a data consistency to the database table. And whenever you create a database table, so what is the mandatory thing, guys? You must define a primary key for the database table. So without a primary key, can you create a database table? See, I check in a syntax check, it is asking specify a primary key. At least you must define one primary key, guys. So I am going to select one primary key. Sales order number is a primary key, guys. Save it and okay. Now I do the syntax check and yellow, guys. Okay, it's not any errors. Yeah, red means if you see any red, it's an error. Yellow means traffic signals. Yellow, ready to move. It's okay, right? And green, you are okay. Very good. No errors, nothing. Yellow, ready to move. Okay, but red, you must stop. So there is an error here also. SAP follows traffic signals: green, yellow, and red. Red means there must be a error, you must resolve it. And yellow, okay, now I can proceed with. And guys, I need to activate the database table, same like program. Whenever I do the activation, so this table will be, guys. So I did a DDL now. So no data definition. See, this is created, I have created a database table. It comes under the data definition language. In the back end, we have a database. What is the database for our system? Did you remember? MS SQL. So this table will be created in the MS SQL database with the create table syntax, guys. SAP take cares automatically. SAP will take care that don't write any code. We are not writing any code, guys. So to create a table, SAP take cares that I defined a table in the data dictionary. Whenever I do the activation, SAP generates a code on the database with the create table syntax. SAP will generate a code on the backend level, guys. So I do not have access to the MS SQL. I cannot show that code. But when it comes to the HANA database, I will show that how SAP will generate a code for you. In the HANA course, I'm going to explain these concepts, guys. These DB statements I will explain in the HANA course, how the create table will work it out. Okay, so that's a create table, and we did a DDL, so data definition, and my table is activated now, guys. My table is activated now. Yes, I'm ready with my table. I'm ready with my table. Next operation, what I need to do? Next operation, what I see, this part, I'm deleting this now. So maybe what we did, guys, we insert column to the left, and it's an item product, and maybe I used the customer. So this is exactly our table. This is exactly our table, and we have defined this table. We did then a DDL, data definition, and whenever I activated, this table is created in the database. Next, what is our action, guys? Huh? Yeah, you need to enter the data into database table. We have to enter the data into database table. What operation it is? What operation it is? We need to enter the data into database table. DML, guys, data manipulation language. So first time we are going to insert the data into database. It's a DML operation. And if you want to enter the data into database table, and here you can see there is an option. So if you want to enter the data into database table, so if you want to maintain the data, you need to go to the utilities. You need to go to menu bar, utilities, okay, table contents, and create entries, guys. This is the path you need to go. And I'm going to the utility menu bar. In the menu bar, we have utilities and table contents and create entries, guys. See, create entries. And sales order 100, and item 1, and product is iPhone, and customer is Sai. Okay, save it and come back and reset. I will create one more 100, and uh, item is item second item, and product is case, and customer is Sai, and control S. And see, guys, there is an error. A data record with a specified key already exists. So what is this error? What is this error? What is this error? A data record with specified key already exists. 100. Okay, I entered again with item 2 and it is giving me the error. It is giving me the error. So a data record with specified key already exists. A data record with specified key already exists. Guys, that's the data consistency. The concept we call it's a primary key concept, guys. So what exactly the primary key? Can anybody explain what exactly the primary key in the database? So what exactly the primary key in the database? Unique. Perfect. So you can identify the records uniquely, guys, in the database level. You can store the record uniquely in the database level. So my definition is it is a column or combination of columns which are unique and not null, guys. This is the primary key concept. So it is in a column or combination of columns and which are unique and not null. So here I give the example. So what I did is, what I did, where is our table here? Just now I created a table. So first I have entered 100 and item 1 and product is iPhone and customer is Sai. And again I entered 100 item 2 and it's in a case and the customer is Sai. So here what I did is sales order is in a key, primary key, PK. It's not Pawan Kalyan, it's a primary key. Okay. So sales order is in a PK, primary key. So that means what is the concept of primary key? So which provides a uniqueness, guys. You can store only unique record in the database. You cannot store with the same number the another record, guys. That's an error. So primary key, when you enable a primary key, you can have only unique record, one unique record in the database. So I entered the order with the 100 and again I try to enter the order with the 100 again. So system is not allowing. A data record with specified key already exists. Suppose if I want to enter one more record with the same, what I need to do, tell me. What I need to do, tell me. Yeah, so perfect answer. You need to enable second field also as a primary key. See now this the combination. So what my definition so of the primary key is? So it is a column or combination of columns which are unique. So now if I go with this approach, if I go with this approach, column or it's a combination of columns. Suppose if I maintain this field as also in a primary key, now this combination will become in a uniqueness case. So 101, 102. Is it in a duplicate record? Is it in a duplicate record? No. Why? Because here the value is changed 1 and 2. Now it will allow, guys. Now it will allow. Suppose if I want to store this kind of data, maybe I need to create one more field item as an a one more primary key, guys. So now you can see save and okay and do the syntax check and now you can activate the database table, guys, and okay. And now I maintain the data utilities table contents and create entries. Now you can see, guys, the item comes. See, before the item is here, now it comes here, guys. See, you can see the blue color means it's in a primary key. So now I can store, guys, 100. Next item is 2 and product is case and customer is Sai. Control S, save. See, guys, data record is successfully saved and I enter 3 and it's in a screen guard and control S. See, data successfully saved and 101 and is this a one more order and item is 1 and it's a name Vivo and maybe Sai. It's my Wasim and control S and the second item Wasim bought as a product is Vivo case and control S and the third item he bought as a Vivo screen guard and control S, right? So I'm entering the, so what operation I'm doing? I'm inserting the records into the database. I'm doing in a DML operation, guys. I'm doing in a DML operation. 102 and order is one. Maybe it's Samsung. Okay. The next one is Naveen is the order, guys. Next one is two, and he bought the one more phone. Not only Samsung, even he bought the iPhone as well. He has very good amount of price, so he would like to have two mobiles, guys. Save it, and that's it, guys. We have records, and if you want to see the records, how many records we have stored, go to the table contents and display the entries and execute. Now you can see the data, guys. This data is saved in the database level. This data, see guys, the data is permanently stored in the database table, guys. Maybe now I did saved it. Maybe after some time I wait for after 2 hours. After 2 hours I came to the here and open display and utilities and table contents and display and execute. I see the data, and after 3 days or 3 years I came here and I see here and I can display the data, and the data is exist. See guys, this is in a database table. With the database table we can permanently store the data in the database. If it is an internal table, we can temporarily store the data in the RAM or in the application layer, guys. That's the difference between internal table and database table, guys. So that's it for today. And do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Now the exercise for you. Okay, don't create the tables with your names, guys. Some people will create the, it should be in a meaningful. Okay, G Rakesh, G Naveen. You will create in a table which is in a meaningless database table. You have to think about the data and you need to create in a database tables, guys. So I'm going to give an exercise now and create in a database table for the student record. Okay, student is in a, we can maintain a student records for a college, right? It's in a student number, name, and date of birth and communication phone, right? And also email. So create one database table with this information. Email. So this is the database table and create it, guys. And don't create with your names and all. It's a student table. You need to maintain a student table with the student number, name, date of birth, phone, and email. And that's it. The exercise. Do this and do my table and the sales table and do the student table. Then you will get to know the lot of things in the database about the tables, and practice today itself. Otherwise tomorrow more dose, and day after tomorrow another dose, and after 5 days, okay, you are gone. That's it. Okay, mix up everything. You will mix up the things. So daily basis you need to complete the task. Today you have to create this table and learn about the data dictionary concepts. Tomorrow 1.5 hour, guys. 1.5 hour is not this small amount of time. You are going to learn a lot of things in the 1.5 hour. See how many things we have learned in today's class. So slide 148, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So almost 10 slides, but the content is too much content we have learned. Okay, 1.5, 7.5 hours, 10 hours. Okay, if you want to get back 10 hours, you have to take 50 hours if you don't practice on daily basis. Okay, if you practice on daily basis, yes, my 1.5 hour class is equal. You have to put 2 hours. Put 2 hours daily, that is enough. But if you don't practice, after 5 days, you need to put 40 to 50 hours. That's what the things. Okay, that's it for today. I hope no questions. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.